There we go. So I've always loved clothing. When I had an eBay store, it was always clothing for me or soft goods. My wife is a hard goods seller, so where I do about 12, 15 a month now, she does between $3,000 and $4,000. So we've kind of got a good mix of both eBay and Poshmark, and it's important that you diversify your platforms. Okay, so Poshmark's been around for what, 8 years?
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So before Poshmark, it was extremely limited, right? But you probably, maybe if you've been online any time at all, you've probably seen businesses come and businesses go. So it's really hard to put all your eggs in one basket. Can anybody guess how much, if you go on different platforms, like, and you know what they are, right? So they're Mercari, they're eBay, they're Poshmark, they're Tradesy, so on and so forth. But by cross-posting on more than 3 platforms, what is the average boost to your business, percentage-wise? Anybody got a guess?
40%.
40%, that's a good number, but you're a bit low.
110.
What is it?
60.
60 is good, still a bit low.
110.
110, you're getting closer, but you're still a bit low.
80.
No.
156%. Okay, so how many of you here would be interested in increasing your business 156%? All right, so I didn't think anybody would say no to that. It's called the loaded question, right? Because I'd rather like
So it
make much less
increases
money.
your sales then?
156%. So everybody here, does everybody here sell on Poshmark? Okay. So how many of you here also sell on eBay? Okay. So what I've done is I'm not talking about what I do for business because, that's not probably going to be relevant to you all as far as the brands that I buy and where I shop and blah, blah, blah. This is strictly looking at eBay, and since everybody's very familiar with Poshmark, it's looking at through the lens of Poshmark. So I've provided you with the handout, and if you need the handout and you're watching this broadcast, you can email me at hibiscuspizza@gmail.com. But the handout kind of has an eBay versus Poshmark feel to it. Okay, so for example, things that you need to list on Poshmark, you're probably very familiar with. You may not be as familiar with what you need to list on eBay. So I've kind of got a little bit of versus going on. So if you just email me a subject of eBay versus Poshmark, I'll mail you this. Some people prefer an electronic copy. I've made hard copies because that's what we're going to go with today. So I've broken this down into 4 separate groups. Sourcing, right? Like I got to get my stuff. There's listing, which is that everybody's favorite or not? It's like, I love listing. But that's the only way people are going to buy it, right? Mm-hmm. Promoting, right? Because I think that one of the things that I always talk to my wife about is like, once you list it, that is not the end of the road, right? Poshmark has some very good ways to do it, right? You've got offers to likers, you've got closet clear out, and you've got all that other stuff. eBay also has its fair share, so you can promote your listings, and I think it's important to do so, right? It's like you're owning a store. How many of you would ever own a store and not advertise it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, you've got to, right? The thing is that what I've got on this page is cost list. So it doesn't cost you anything up front. It might cost you on the back end, especially as you use eBay, which again is a little bit different. On the back, I've got some shipping, right? Because shipping with eBay is different than Poshmark, but not that much. And then I've got some additional tips and help. And then on the back, we'll discuss this, I've got the eBay store listing, okay? So if you want to store an eBay, which I kind of encourage everybody to do if you're really going to do this for reals, right? It has all the stores, costs, and lists and things like that. So the first thing that we talk about is we talk about sourcing, right? So you have to get the goods, but really it's kind of hard to tell like which goods are velocity sellers, right? And which goods are going to sit in your closet or in a bin forever and then finally find that one buyer. So everybody knows that finding comps, and everybody is looking at comps, right?
Yes.
Okay, so finding comps, and you can follow this along on your phone, that's perfectly fine. You know that you'll go to a market in Poshmark, you'll click on the shop, which is the magnifying glass, select your brands, select sold, and then apply your highest to lowest search. By the way, how many of you are shoppers on these platforms as well as sellers? Okay, so for you, this is also an awesome way to shop, because all you need to do on your solds is go from lowest to highest, because that's really what you're interested in when you're a shopper, right? Well, on eBay, it's a little bit more diverse. And working with a diversity of products, you have the opportunity of searching by title. And the number one way that you find things on eBay is searching by title. So eBay does not search your description at all. It will through an advanced search, but generally title is king when it comes to eBay. The interesting thing, that's a little bit different than Poshmark, because Poshmark will search both for the purposes of its algorithm. eBay does not. So there you can search in the title by the brand. So guess what, when you list, what's the number one thing you're gonna have in your title? The brand. So that doesn't change, right? Because Poshmark says the number one thing that you have to have in your title is the brand, right? So you search by brand, you can filter by category. With eBay, there are a ton of categories, okay? But clothing is men's and women's, so on and so forth. By the way, do I have any hard goods sellers here? Everybody soft goods clothing?
Okay.
A couple?
I sell some other stuff. I was talking to Caroline about, I sell like golf clubs, golf bags,
Yeah.
and stuff. I haven't sold any clothing stuff.
And my wife is the same way. She's like, you take care of the hard goods unless I find something I really like.
Yeah.
So that's all she does is hard goods. But still the same thing kind of applies. So when you filter by category, then you'll be able to bring down the sold and completed. And on eBay, those are two different things, okay? What you want to look for when you're sourcing or comping on eBay is you want to look at the difference between what has sold and what has been completed. Because the completed will tell you how many have been listed and completed. So if there's 100 that have been listed and completed, and out of that only 5 has sold, that's not something you want, unless you want to sit on it, unless it's a one-off, right? That crazy weird thing like the toast with Obi-Wan Kenobi on it, right? That's not something that it's something that you're going to want to sit on. Now, those aren't bad, because sometimes those can go for a really high price, because remember, you have supply and demand, and if the demand is high and the supply is low, you're going to fetch a better price. But you always want to look at the difference between completed and sold in order for you to determine whether this product is worthwhile for you to list. Yes, miss?
So I am completely ignorant to eBay. What is the difference between sold and completed? Is completed like it's been shipped? And
So
sold-
completed is anything that's been finished. So if I've sold and shipped it, that would be completed. If it's an auction that I have stopped and it's discontinued, that's going to be a completed. Okay, so anything that other than being deleted off the platform, that is a completed listing.
So completed is better than just sold. Is that what you're saying?
Sold is better than completed.
Okay.
So if you have 100 completed and only 5 of those sold, right, look at those solds and determine, hey, that's probably something that I'm not going to sell at any velocity.
Now, if you had 100 sold but 5 completed, that's when you're saying that's
Yeah,
what
that's
you
when
want.
you're in, right?
You want higher sold. You want higher solds than completeds.
Yes, as a
Okay.
general rule, higher solds than completed, or a great percentage. So if 95% of that 100 sold, you probably got yourself a winner,
Okay.
right? That will also tell you, sorting by high and low, it'll also tell you how much it's sold for. So the thing with Poshmark is we're all probably doing the same thing, right? I don't sell based off of price so much on Poshmark. I sell based off of brand, right? The season, and then how weird it is. Those are my 3 things, right? Somebody's like, how long does it take you to go through a Goodwill? I can go through a Goodwill in about 20 minutes, right? I'm just looking for color, length,
That's
and then
me.
from there it's the brand.
That's me.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
My wife is like, I'm gonna look up everything. Right? Because that's where she lives. That's the one-off thing. Me, if I go looking for a coat, I know that I'm looking for length and I'm looking for weirdness. That's it. That's what
Yeah.
I'm looking for, right? As a buyer. So that's how I sell. But when you're looking at that for eBay, eBay is a lot pickier when it comes to the pricing, okay? Because there are so many, you kind of have to hit that sweet spot. The other nice thing about eBay is that you can have buy it now, but you can choose what offers you're willing to accept. And you can also choose the low point of those offers.
That's what I was gonna
So if you're not a person who enjoys lowball offers, I love them, by the way, right? That's the first step in negotiation. Some other people feel differently, but you can go to the low end of that make offer, and you can go in and say, hey, I don't take anything but 20% less than this. Okay? So that's where, but the pricing has to be in there because there's so much to choose from on eBay, and people are looking at by type, category, brand, size, that you're either going to show up on that high to low or you're not.
Can you say that again? You said that sentence about the pricing, about saying it's within that scope of 20%.
So when you list on eBay, and we'll cover that next, when you list on eBay, you can list it as buy it now. And people really don't do auctions anymore. They list it as buy it now. And then you can accept offers on that, but you can set the low end of that offer. So you can say, my price is $100. I'm willing to take anything between $181 immediately. I will always approve that offer automatically. Okay? Anything lower than between 80 and 60, I want the ability to say, maybe I do want to take this offer, maybe I don't. And then anything below 60 is just straight out. I'm not going to, it's automatically going to be declined.
So
Okay.
it won't even send to you at that point.
No,
They stop it.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, if lowball offers are like the bane of your existence, on eBay, those can go away. It takes a little bit more setup like anything else, but those can kind of go away. Any questions on how to look up comps?
I mean, I guess I have a question, like,
Yeah.
when you look up an item, sometimes there's something that sells for like a lot more on eBay versus Posh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my theory is, I always just price it the same, because I don't want someone to go to my Poshmark store and see I'm selling it for 20, even though I might be able to get, 28 to 30 on eBay, or vice versa.
Right.
Is there a technique you have for that, or is it just, I mean, I don't wanna like piss someone off because I was like overcharging on one platform.
Same. So what you have to do is you have to look at what the platform is doing for you. So when we get into more of the listing and all of that other stuff, we'll talk a little bit more about how to price items. Myself, if we want to talk about me for a moment, which I'm always happy to do. But if you want to talk about me for a moment, I price where I'm comfortable, right? So it doesn't matter the platform, I'm going to price where I'm comfortable. It's going to depend a lot, honestly, on how I ship it. Right? So shipping is kind of, so when we get more into shipping, we'll talk about strategies around that. Shipping is the big thing for me because we know on Posh it's going to be how much?
$6.79.
For a tie, it's going to be how much?
$6.79.
Right? For a jacket, it's going to be how much?
$6.79.
Right? eBay is not so linear. And this is where people generally will fall apart. So I will help you through that. I will help you through that because it's scary. It certainly is. Like, what if I price it too low? What if I price it too high? I've got you covered. Okay? Any other questions on sourcing? Yes.
So, if you have it buy it now, you have your price, you're saying that you have that area where you just take, you have that section where it's just the lowest you'll take, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, alright.
So it'll be buy it now is what you're going to set it for. So it's buy it now or auction. And then it's like, are you willing to accept offers? And if the answer is yes, you can set in, okay, I'm going to always approve everything that's in this area.
Okay.
I'm going to think about things that are in this area. Anything in this area is just straight out.
So you don't do any auctions?
I do not do any auctions. Okay, and we'll talk, I've got a little blurb on that because auctions is a good feature of eBay, right? But you have to be careful how you use it.
Right.
What I do not do is I don't do 99-cent auctions because I work hard for my money, honey.
Right.
And you're not taking, 30% out of my 99 cents, right? So again, in drawing this back to comps, when you see comps like that, ignore them. You see comps like that, ignore them because it's somebody being dumb. And Lord knows there's plenty of those people out there. You will not be one of them. All right, so good. Sourcing sounds like we're good. Listing, I have the basic fields. And we can see that you're probably familiar with 8 photos in Poshmark. There's 40 title characters. You get 12. You get 12 when it comes to eBay. The thing that I will encourage you to do with your eBay listings is have measurements. Okay? I know that there are some sellers that are like, I'm never gonna accept returns, man. Dude, you're accepting returns. Take those 4 listings and put your measurements in them with a ruler.
I do have a question. So I put photos of my measurements in,
Uh-huh.
instead I don't list them in the listing because
Virtual high five to that.
because I feel like if you can't look at the picture, you're probably not gonna read it anyways. But is that what you do as well?
No, I don't do any measurements.
That was a good talk there.
Good time.
Good talk.
But here's the thing. It's risk versus reward, right? For me, I'm a velocity seller. So I want to get this up as quick and dirty as I can. Ask the questions you want, right? Most of the listings on Poshmark for measurements is because somebody asked. That's why they exist. Other than that, I'm just putting it up. If you ever go to Hibiscus Pizza and look at my descriptions, they're insane. Like literally some of them are, this is really cool, you should buy it now. Like that's all I put in there, right? I'm hoping that the photos will carry me, right? And I do okay with that. If you have a question, you ask. eBay is a little bit more stringent on that. So if you don't put your measurements in the listing and they buy it and it doesn't fit, it's coming back.
So cover your butt.
Yes, it's coming back. Even if you don't take, and I'll say this again, even if you don't take returns, they will do what's called an INAD. Item not as described. And you're gonna eat it, and it's gonna be delicious. It's not gonna be delicious, okay? Because they'll charge you shipping back, and it's terrible, right? So if you're going to put measurements on your eBay listings, you have it perfectly, right? Because nobody can dispute what the tape measure says.
Okay.
And I see this on Poshmark a little bit more too, where people are getting items returned because they wrote it's approximately 12 inches. And they're like, no, it's 12 and a half, or it's 13, or it's 14, or it's 11 inches, or whatever, right? And Poshmark is accepting those back. So yeah, if you're gonna show it, like show it, right? If you're not, leave it off and then just have that discussion when it comes. Because if they buy it on Poshmark and they're like, well, I thought it was a size 6, but it feels like a size 5, that's a good problem. Okay, but eBay is a little bit different. So at the bottom here, I have make sure you're thorough. Documentation is key in reducing stress from INADs, which is items not as described. Okay. When it comes to cross-posting, let me go back here. You'll notice that down here on the basic fields, I have donate to charity. Okay, again, this is different. Now, everybody's familiar with a Poshmark algorithm. You've heard whispers of the Poshmark algorithm, right? There is an algorithm also on eBay. One of those algorithms is do you or do you not donate to charity? Okay, it's a tax write-off if you do. That's cool, right? But it also increases your ranking when it comes to search results. I've given to the Phantom Bugle Corps of somebody for years. It's just a 10% thing. It comes out of your PayPal account. So make sure you're leaving that in your PayPal account before you run off with all the money. I do it all the time. But donate to charity is one of the things that they look at. They do look at if you have a store, that will increase your ranking. And then they'll look at the other things just like Posh. So did you recently list, right? Obviously you don't share when it comes to eBay, but how frequently do you list? How participative are you in it? Do you have a store? Do you donate to charity? Do you run promotions? So all of those things kind of feed into that algorithm. I do have some hints for cross-posting. So what I do with mine is I take all my pictures via phone in a one-by-one platform for Poshmark, right? The desired proportion for eBay is also 1-by-1, so you don't lose anything. So when I say cross-post through OneDrive, what I do is I take all of those pictures and they just wind up on my OneDrive. So they transfer automatically my phone to my computer, and then that's where I do my own cross-posting. There are other things that will cross-post for you automatically. There is List Perfectly I've used, Poshmark Share I've used. You can also have free cross-posting with eBay on Bonanza.com and Truegether.com. And those are truly automatic. So if you want to increase your footprint, go to truegather.com, go to bonanza.com, sign up for them. As soon as you list something on eBay, it will appear in your shop on TrueGather or Bonanza. When somebody grabs that information and buys it, you'll get a notification in the email. You'll just ship it off just like you would with any other eBay purchase. So that's absolutely free. It's absolutely, it syncs up pretty well. So as soon as you sell something, it'll remove itself from the other site. But those are two great ways to, again, increase that footprint. Because again, the more platforms that you are actively selling on, the more money you're gonna make.
You don't pay anything for, like,
Other than seller fees.
to eBay or to Bonanza?
To Bonanza or TrueGather or whoever. you
On
use.
top of the eBay fee? No, instead of.
Right? So basically what they're doing is eBay has something that Posh does, and it's called an API. With that API, you can draw information, and what they're doing is they're saying, you're giving us permission to draw your listings through that API to our site, but once you sell something off of our site, we'll automatically close the eBay listing for you, and you'll just pay us whatever seller fees are available, and they're quite reasonable. They're quite reasonable.
And it's protected?
Mm-hmm.
Like you would be.
Yes. Yeah, you still have all of the buyer protection, everything goes with it. I've been doing this for years. Obviously, I don't do a lot. My wife does more on Bonanza and TrueGather because I'm not a big eBay seller anymore. We had a couple of issues. Some of them were my faults. It really wasn't a Prada bag. I didn't know that. But again, diversification is key to success. But just remember, if you're using software like List Perfectly, obviously looking here, you've got 40 title characters here, you've got 80 title characters here. You're gonna have to still do some work. Okay, so that's why I just do OneDrive. But I keep my, my description is fairly short, like this jacket is your spirit animal. I sold that one, by the way. But you're gonna still have to do some work, but it's much easier, and that's why I just list off of OneDrive. It's free. I like listing from my computer much more than I do from my phone. OneDrive takes the pictures that I have, automatically puts it on my OneDrive on my computer, and I just pick them up and I just put them wherever I want. Any questions on listing?
I guess maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like, let's say on eBay, you have so many, you go in and you put the fabric content and you have, it has all the little subcategories.
Mm-hmm.
So like, let's say you put sleeve length and you put full sleeve, full or long sleeve because that's the best option, and it was really cuff length. Like, is it to your advantage to fill out all of those little forms, or
Yes.
is it just easier, like for a returns process and just like time sake to just like leave that stuff blank and let them use the pictures?
So it can be as much involved as you want. Some people will get all the way, they'll get that granular in the category. So eBay has done a very good job. That's why they don't really do descriptions. There's other things that you can do, but I don't do much. I do the bare minimum. Again, my job is to get this up, because by getting it up, that's the only way it's ever gonna sell. So if people have questions, they can ask. By the way, I take, on eBay, I'm 30-day returns, free return shipping, right? And it's been a long time since I've taken a return. But even when it comes to Poshmark, I'm more liberal with my return policy than Posh is. Because my big thing is I spend a lot of time listing this and lovingly finding it and sourcing it. So I kind of have a love affair with my products. So my biggest thing is like, I don't want to sell you something that you're never gonna wear. Because sitting in a closet in the dark alone, no thank you. But I'm always just real careful, and if they ask a question, again, they want the measurements, I'm taking pictures of that measurement, and then you decide whether or not it's going to fit, because that relieves me of the responsibility. But I'm fairly bare bones when it comes to listing on both platforms. If you want to, the way that I segregate it is currently I sell on eBay, I sell on Poshmark, that's my big one, and then I sell for Etsy for vintage. But all three of them are kind of the same style. It's just kind of how I do things and always have. Any questions on listing?
You say something about Etsy for vintage.
Uh-huh.
That one is better than eBay?
So, for me, it's better because that's where people who are shopping for vintage gravitate towards. And this is, you know, everybody tells me hard goods, soft goods. If it's vintage, go with Etsy. The selling fees on Etsy, any guesses? The percentage of selling fees on Etsy?
Is it 0?
You're close. It's 5%. Like when you're talking about Poshmark, that's very low. You do have to pay for listings on Etsy. It's 20 cents per listing for like 3 months, and they auto bill.
And we had to pay the credit card processing fee.
Yes. Yep. But minimal stuff. So for me, that's why I like Etsy a little bit more, and people tend to gravitate to it. For me, it's like, are these my people or not? Poshmark, you all are my people, right? Because I'm all like this when it comes to my pictures, right? Etsy, you can also be like that. And so you can with Depop. I know somebody did Depop. But eBay is fairly like, I like my stuff in a 1x1 on a white background. But I don't do a lot of eBay.
So our stock photos.
Stock photos, so that's a very good question.
Okay.
Are stock photos welcome on eBay? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
You
no.
have pictures when you
No.
want your pictures to be that
They
item.
will police you.
They'll do
Yeah.
your
Oh, yeah.
listing
Yeah.
down, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
So
if you
one of
do
the
enough,
things
they'll kick
that,
you off.
Our official statement on stock photos is, yes, you can if it's a new item, but technically they'll take it down.
Just don't chance it.
yeah.
So sometimes I will put the stock item, if it's a really strappy item, there's no way unless the stock photo, I'll put it at the end.
Yeah. Oh, at the end.
Yeah.
You all know those clothing items, no matter where you put it, on you, on a mannequin.
Right,
Like, it
right.
has to
I know
be
exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I put it at the end.
Okay.
I usually put pictures of my dog at the end of my listings. Like here's 5 pictures of the item on a mannequin, and the 6th one, that's my dog.
You really do that?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
You don't know Clark.
If
He
you have
really
not
do
been
it.
to Hibiscus Pizza on Poshmark, I'm not going to say you're in for a treat, but I do my own thing.
Very well.
All right. Anything else when it comes to listing?
Can you start out a store right away?
Yes.
Okay.
You can start at a store right away.
And how many items do you get? Because I know that they up your items.
So I had that problem. I started a store right away and I only got 100 free items. And I called and they only bumped it up to 150. And then I called again and I've had to call every month and I'm only at 350.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get up to 1,000 listings.
Yes.
It's recommended to me as a new seller on eBay just to start listing things at first and wait for them to send you a promo to do a store.
But it doesn't
Yes.
matter, it doesn't matter because you can't sell 250. I have a $250
Oh, yeah.
item store and I was paying for it every month and I was only able to sell 150.
And when we get to that store portion, we'll definitely flesh that out.
Okay.
On the back of this, by the way, on the back of your sheet here,
Uh-huh.
there is a listing of all the stores,
Okay.
what their price is per month, what they include, and what the fees are for eBay. All right.
You should, yeah, you should get a source when you're allowed to list that many listings.
Right.
And call every 30 days.
And no one
Yes.
told me that, so I paid for like 3 months and I was only.
So if you look at the additional help on the back, the very last one is monitor your subscriptions. Monitor your subscriptions. All right. So when it comes to promoting, right? So now we've got it, we've sourced it, we've got a killer price on it, we've listed it, we've got some awesome photos to deal with. Clark Show. So we've listed it, now we have to promote it. Now we know that on Poshmark we have offers to likers, which require 10% and a shipping discount. eBay has something similar called offers to buyers and offers in messages. So if you have fantastic photos, but somebody wants to know, is it a long sleeve or is it a 3/4 sleeve? They'll send you a message. In that message link in your email will be a little button that says, make an offer to the buyer, right? And so you can make an offer right there, which is kind of a cool feature. Or offers to messages rather. Offers to buyers is kind of similar to offers to likers. You can put whatever discount you want. It can be $1, right? So there's no high-low ceiling on that. And it also does, you don't have to do anything with shipping. So we'll talk about shipping here in a moment. eBay does have what they call promoted listings. I like promoted listings because it's kind of pay as you go. So you determine how much it is, percentage-wise, off of the price of your item, and it'll appear around the internet based on how high of a percentage that you've provided. So if the average for a shirt is 8%, and you say I'll do 10%, right? You're going to bid out higher, and yours is going to be shown in promoted listings around the web first. The other nice thing is that it kind of gives you some oomph, and you don't pay for that oomph until somebody buys directly from that promoted listing. So they have to click on whatever advertisement they saw, and they have to click on the bot, and then they have to buy it, right? What that does is it sets a persistent cookie in the individual's computer for like 30 days. If they buy within that 30 days, that 10% comes out as part of your listing fees for the item, or your final value fees on eBay.
So what are the selling fees on eBay? Poshmark is 20% and maybe some shipping, depending on if you have an offer or not, but on eBay, is it a flat amount or is it varied?
On the back sheet. We'll cover that, by the way. The real answer is, the easy answer is like, how much am I going to get paid for it on eBay? Keep in mind that you're going to pay some sort of final value fees. This is a percentage of the item based on, did they buy it through promoted listings? Did they buy it through your own efforts? How much was it? What was it? Right? And then do you have a store? So like all of those things, that's why I'm like, it depends, right? What I see as average, because remember, on top of that, you may have PayPal fees or credit card fees. You don't get away from those. And then they take money out of your shipping costs. So if you charge 10%, $10 for shipping, they're taking out 10% in most cases for that. So you're paying that. That's all fees that you pay normally, because you still have to pay the full price for shipping, right? So that's why it depends. But I've got the handy dandy list. Some of them are like literally archaic and weird and surprising, but I'll save that surprise for the end.
And you have to pay the PayPal fee too.
Yes.
It's a little bit more than 10%.
Yes. Now, PayPal is going out of the picture and then coming back in the picture. So there are two different types of accounts that you can now have on eBay. You can say, yes, I will take PayPal and only PayPal. Or you can say, I'm not going to take PayPal and I'm going to take credit cards. So they're sliding that into everybody because PayPal, because they split, eBay and PayPal were owned by the same company, they split. They're now moving away from PayPal as their sole payer. So you can be invited to, I think it's still in beta, where you can be invited to just take credit cards. So it's kind of weird because you're alienating people who've always bought through PayPal because it's their preferred method. Like I keep money in my PayPal account just in case I want to buy something. So you don't get those customers, but as time goes on, everybody's going to switch to that method. But you're still going to be paying PayPal fees or credit card fees no matter what.
So, I mean, can you give us like a general, like we all know, I mean, I understand there's this like really extreme graph.
Right.
Like are we looking like at 15% compared to 20, or is there like?
So I'm usually right around, it's actually by the time you get through everything. So you get through your final value fees, you get through your PayPal fees, you get through your the money that they take out of the shipping costs. I'm usually right around 20%.
So
it's almost
apples
even.
to
I
apples.
say yeah.
Yes.
Even.
So initially they'll take out like 10%. That's what they take out.
Yeah.
But then there's other fees back behind that you have to consider as part of your take.
Yeah.
The nice thing that I do like about eBay is that if you get into their reporting, okay, so there's a couple of things that I was hoping to cover here, but their media thing is out. But if you get into their reporting, their analytics, they have super awesome analytics. So if you only join eBay and don't do anything with it, you can still look at their analytics to tell you what's selling. So they get very granular. So if you go to listings and you go to your analytics, they'll get very granular saying that this title is what's selling, this color is what's selling, and this size is what's selling.
Wow.
And they'll do it on a graph over a timeline. I now know, thanks to eBay, that I can take the month of July off because nobody's buying clothes on eBay during that time period. So I can, that's when I'm going to go on vacation. That's probably when I want to get out of town here anyway. Let's be honest, right? So get into the analytics, get into listing, and it does have a little breakdown down at the bottom. It'll tell you how much you paid for fees and then how much you made. So for me on my spreadsheet, my big thing is like how much did I earn, and then what is the pi delta between bought and sold, right? So I keep track of that, but eBay does a pretty good job of keeping track, like how much were my, what percentage did I pay on average, and then what did I actually make, what did I actually take home. So get into their analytics and that'll tell you quite a bit.
How many listings do you recommend to have on eBay?
Don't get into any platform with less than 100 listings. Like, just don't. Work your way into it. So like you may get sales up to that, but I've always noticed that the cutoff is right around 100 listings. But if you're using, like List Perfectly, for example, they have a 7-day trial. So list your heart out, girl, right? And get your 100 listings, right? Because other than that, it's just not enough, right? It would be like, I'm gonna open a showroom here and there's my one piece of clothes. Well, not many people are gonna buy that one piece of clothing because they're all looking for something else. So get yourself to 100 as quickly as you can. All right, so other ways of promoting, we have offers and bundles with sales. The thing that I don't like about Poshmark is if I want to put my closet on sale, you have to depend on the customer putting it on the bundle, right? And then maybe you have a bundle discount, or maybe you say if you put this into bundles, I'll automatically give you 50% off. eBay has a very robust marketing engine that allows you to have temporary sales. So you can go, I want from this date to this date, I want to go 20% off, and that way you're not stuck lowering your own prices for closet clear out and then raising them. You can just put those prices in there for a temporary amount of time, just like you would with a regular store. Make sure that if you're going to do that, turn off your best offer feature. Okay, so don't get caught in like getting $5 offers because you're like, what the heck? It's because you reduced your price for a temporary amount of time and you need to manage to that. Okay, so don't forget to turn off your best offers. The other thing is that make sure that if you're going to do a sale for tomorrow, you're too late. Put your sales a week out. So if you're going to run a weekend sale, do it the previous weekend. Don't do it on the fly because that's just not the way it works. Search engines and the promotion engines aren't going to pick up on it in time, and you're going to be like, I didn't sell anything in my super duper awesome sale. It's because you didn't give it enough time to propagate throughout the rest of the poor internet. Share on social media, of course, is both supported. It's not as automated on eBay as it is on Poshmark. And then let's talk about stores. So remember on the upfront when I said, how are you going to get your listing sold or shown? That is having a store. A store only costs you like $4.95. It does give you an increase in your promotions, right? So eBay knows that its subscribers are kind of its bread and butter, because honestly, you're more likely to list more and create more final value fees, right? And you're paying them $5 for stuff everybody's using for free. So they get really granular. Have a store. The thing is that it's only $4.95 a month. You'll get more listings out of it, so it'll encourage you to list more because everybody wants to make that money back. The second thing that it does is that, again, it increases the amount of searches for your products. And the third thing that it does is as you get bigger stores, you get shipping credits. So you'll get a quarterly shipping credit for eBay boxes, eBay tape. My wife has a ton of it everywhere. It's disgusting. I'm like, do you have anything but these skeevy eBay boxes? She's like, no. Get your own boxes. I got these pretty white ones from USPS. But you do get shipping supply credits, and that's kind of the big expense difference. So when you're saying, yeah, it's 20%, but you also have to start paying for your own boxes, right? So consider that as part of the cost of goods that you have if you're treating this like a business.
You just recycle like Amazon. Can you just recycle boxes, or do you need?
Yeah, if that's where you live, then that's perfect. I've known quite a few people myself included, that desperate for a box of trying to shove something in there. My wife does it all the time. I'm like, that's not my brand, but she's okay with it. So, you know, it depends on where you're at.
Clark, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the Terra Peak subscription used for? I've always been curious about it.
What's
but
that?
I've never used it. The Terra Peak subscription?
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So she's asking about Terra Peak. So eBay, remember when I said you're looking for comps, right? Your comps only on eBay go back 60 days.
Oh, okay.
So that is a 60-day trending report. So if the super cool item that you found was sold on day 61, it's not going to appear in comps. So what TerraPeak does, and there's a couple of products, TerraPeak is one that is now owned by eBay. There's also WorthPoint. What that does, that will carry back, in some cases, like up to 5 years.
So you have to log into them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So you log into them. They have a special gateway. They have a special gateway that you use, and then if you've got that TerraPeak subscription, for clothing, not that important to go beyond 60 days. Like it's not, because those are the things like a Steve Madden jacket is a Steve Madden jacket, more or less, right? Does it have a hood? Does it have a fur lining? Is it, whatever. But those generally don't go out 60 days, and fashion doesn't last much longer than that anyway. But if you're doing hard goods, or you consider like doing maybe more home goods on eBay, or you're doing, I want to supplement with one-off hard goods, that's definitely worth your time, because TerraPeak will give you the full historical data. And with that historical data, it's not only what to list, it's when to list it. Does that make sense? Right? So again, I can take
It's just eBay comps is what it is.
Yes, primarily eBay comps, because they pull using that API.
Does eBay own them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why TerraPeak instead of something else.
They're just keeping a better log for them.
Yeah.
That you have to dig into.
Yeah, because that data just doesn't disappear. It
Yeah.
disappears for you all because you don't have a TerraPeak subscription.
Yeah.
Right? And it gums the works up when you search for comps.
I was gonna say, it'd be
Like
so
imagine
much-
searching for a long coat on eBay, and it goes through the dawn of time.
Yeah.
Right? So they
That's
keep
what's-
those
yeah.
out for 60 days. Good question. All right, so domestic shipping. We all know that eBay, there's no shipping included, right? So for me, what I do is I charge everybody shipping. And I have a very simple shipping method. It's always a 12 by 12 by 8 box. And then it's always 1 pound for shirts, 2 pounds for jeans, 3 pounds for a coat. And every customer pays shipping. Okay?
And you just have like your numbers, like let's say you say $4 for a shirt, you just know that when you list it that you're gonna include that
So-
4 in your price.
On top of that, what I do is I use calculated shipping.
Okay.
So it's 3 pounds, 12 by 12 by 8 box to your house, right? I don't care where you live, it's your problem, not
Yeah.
mine, right?
Yeah.
Other people, and fast and free delivery is kind of the big thing. They want you to include it in the price. For me, I kind of like not including it in the price, because it just is just one of those things that signals like, if you want this, you're just gonna have to pay shipping for it. But that's my thing. But fast and free does rank higher, which means that you ship it out in 1 day, you include shipping in the cost, you take 30-day returns, and you're accepting the shipping cost for any returns. Okay? Anything outside that lowers that, but my brand, the way that I live, the way I want in my existence, is I want you to pay for your own shipping, because I can't control that cost. I can't control where you live, I can't control what you buy. If you do buy it, then you're gonna do that. And they can bundle, right? But more often than not, I find that hits the mark without going through and weighing everything in a box. Okay? Do I lose some money on shipping now and again? Yes, but I also gain money on that shipping now and again, so it kind of all washes out. For me, I also send everything out priority mail on both eBay and obviously on Posh, because the boxes are free and that's not an expense that I need. Most cases, 20, 30, 40 cents more for priority. And the thing is that once you buy from me, it's no longer mine, it's yours. I want you to have it as quickly as I can, and those white boxes look so awesome.
Yeah. So that was gonna be my question. You use that 12 by 12 by 8 dimension just for a general shipping cost across the board. You don't ship a t-shirt in that box.
No,
You put it in the envelope, the soft envelope, and
Yep.
ship it out.
that's my agent. No more commercials until
And there's
the
no
end of the video.
problem that you told them the shipping is gonna be 12 by 12 in a box, 1 pound, and it
That-
ends up being like.
They don't even see that. What they see is that this is the type of shipping that you'll receive. They don't show, it doesn't show the box or anything like that. It just says this is the amount. And the thing with eBay is what they do is it's like 1 to 2 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds, 4 to 5 pounds. And so it's kind of a range anyway. So they know that that's about what they're gonna do.
So
And-
if you charge $5, for example, for this t-shirt should be shipped, but you use priority, the post office is gonna actually charge you more than that. That just helps offset the cost, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like my white envelopes.
Yeah.
I like my white boxes. I think it looks nice and clean, and again, this is representing my brand. It also says, like, I spent a little bit extra for you to get it quicker,
I agree.
because, again, shipping's a fairly blind item, and if they know that they're paying shipping, then they're gonna appreciate that you got it to the fastest possible method.
And you don't find it affects your business not doing free shipping?
No. And if it did, I wouldn't care. I'm selling on Poshmark anyways. That's
So you don't do any first class at all?
Oh, I do first class.
You do ship
Under a
first
pound.
class?
Yeah, because under a pound. And the reason why I do first class under a pound, I have my own mailers for that, little hibiscus flower mailers. They're purple. But the reason why I do it that way is that USPS first class and priority ships at about the same speed.
Okay. But it doesn't just look better to your customer if they're getting their first class? Is that what you do it that way?
First class.
Priority, yes.
Yeah.
I have my own mailers for first class again because I think it elevates what what my brand is.
Okay, some I'm confused on. I'm sorry if you guys already got this.
Nope.
What I'm trying to understand is, like, say the $5 is they're gonna eat it for shipping, okay?
They're gonna pay that for shipping,
Yes.
correct?
Say the shirt is $8, that's what you wanna list it.
Correct.
Are you listing it $13? Or are you saying $8 plus
$8 you pay for
shipping?
your own shipping, and it's calculated shipping to their door.
Yeah, so you're not putting the shipping in the price of the shirt, you're letting them see the two separate.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know.
And the
Is where
difference
you
for
like to
you-
just list it in one?
No, I did it the same way. that
Okay,
I-
that's what I was trying to understand,
And the
okay.
difference for you is that the customer pays $13 for a shirt,
Mhm.
which for some people, that's an easier pill to swallow,
Yeah,
right? So for example, in Posh, I rarely have anything below $17
Mhm.
because I think people have a hard time spending, like if it's $6, I'm gonna spend another $7 for shipping? Probably not,
yeah,
right? So I can negotiate down and like I got a great deal and I have to pay $6.79 shipping.
yeah,
My personal thing. But if you sell it at $13, which means it's an all-inclusive package, says, hey, I'm gonna ship it for you, shipping is free, it's not free. You're gonna pay $13, you're gonna actually get a better ranking on eBay.
Mhm.
So my $8 shirt at $5 shipping is gonna appear second, your $13 shipped, including shipping, is gonna appear first in the rankings.
okay.
Okay, but for me, I like the calculated shipping option because it's something that people can understand.
Okay.
I get that it has to ship.
Mhm.
I get that it's not free, but I get that it's from point A to point B.
Mhm.
And because I live further away, I'm gonna spend a little bit more. So for me, it's kind of just that value.
Okay.
My background is as a sales trainer. Some people, and we'd sell millions of dollars in a deal. And some people would say, well, my competitor is offering free shipping. Well, like that's fair. It's not really free. They're including it in the price. I want to be transparent with my business so you know what exactly you're paying per line item.
That's what I was trying to
So that's
understand
me.
too. So then it's like they don't feel like you've hidden something from them.
Correct.
Either. Okay.
Correct.
Because I figured that way something doesn't bite you in the butt later.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
something- Okay.
And if they return it, you only have to refund the cost of the item, not the cost of the shipping, so you don't lose that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
another
you don't have to
reason
do
I
that
like to charge
13. You only
separate.
have to do the 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
All right. So there are a couple of other shipping options. So for those of you that sell exclusively on Poshmark, I'm going to give you a gift today. Sell internationally on eBay.
Yes.
I remember a much younger Clark in the 80s sold a lot of Levi's jeans in the USSR because they dug it,
Yeah.
right? It was just before all that happened and they quit being a real communist country and became a diet communist country, and they were crazy for Western wear. There are still a lot of those people out there that love it. And Poshmark does not have this option. There are 2 ways to ship globally. There is the easy way and there is the less easy way. The easy way is through their global shipping program. The global shipping program says, I'm going to eat the costs as the seller in shipping from here, wherever here is for you, to Kentucky. That's all that you have to pay for. Your customer in Germany pays from there to Kentucky, from Kentucky to Germany. Once it is received by the Kentucky location, then you're pretty much home free. Very few returns happen from the global shipping program. Okay, so it's easy. You're still using the same box. You're still using the same process. It's just going through, right? Who pays for the premium is the customer. The customer pays that premium price to get it from nya to nya. Some people in other countries won't buy via the global shipping program because the difference between that and shipping it globally is tremendously high. Okay, so if you want to be a for real eBay seller, use your own global shipping program. Okay, I've provided you with a couple down here at the bottom. Pirateship.com.
Question for you.
Yeah.
For Pirate Ship, which I use on Mercari instead of using Mercari shipping,
Okay,
would you use that for eBay versus the eBay shipping?
so for domestic, so back when they had their last rate hike in 2018, Pirate Ship beat them hands down. Okay, Pirate Ship and eBay. Pirate Ship is now a little bit more expensive if you go 1 for 1. The difference between Pirate Ship and eBay is that for internationally selling, Pirate Ship generally is less expensive. They also allow you to bag things and pay the bag rate, not the box rate. So it's a bag dimensional rather than a box dimensional, which is less expensive. And they allow you to round to the 1/4 inch rather than the full inch. So there are instances, and I would say if you're doing it globally, and you can use eBay shipping or Pirate Ship, use the Pirate Ship.
But only for international. You would not
Only for
recommend
international.
using
International pirate ship.
Yes. Pirate Ship is free to use.
Okay.
What they've done is like Poshmark and like eBay, they've gone to USPS and says, hey, we're going to ship through our stuff. We're going to offer our own back end and blah, blah, blah. We just want this negotiated rate. So they have the lowest negotiated rate. Similar to like if we all got together and said, hey, we're a shipping company now. It's going to be Posh Shipping. Now USPS give us a better rate. Okay? Pirate Ship costs nothing for you to use. You will have to have a credit card. Now, for those of you who have eBay, I would suggest getting their eBay credit card. Okay, because as soon as money hits your eBay or PayPal account, get a PayPal credit card. As soon as your PayPal money hits your PayPal account, it's immediately spendable. You can also use Pirate Ship using your PayPal money if you have a PayPal MasterCard, and then that way it just comes out of that like it normally would. For everybody else, it gives you an opportunity to use your mileage cards and everything else for shipping, which also might carry its own benefit. But there's no cost. You just go to pirateship.com and you sign up. Automatically you can integrate eBay with it, so it'll pull all the information over for you. Real simple and easy to use. And this customer service is great. Those guys are super
So you're
nice.
saying to use them for the international shipping for eBay instead of eBay?
Yes,
Okay.
much better than the global shipping option.
Those conversations, yeah.
All right. Any questions on shipping? Like, don't stress out about it. Because I know that's like for new eBay sellers or for people who've worked with Poshmark for a while. I mean, I can zoom through my shipping with Poshmark. Like, it's just a bag, it's a thank you note, and then it's in the box. Most of those are self-sealing boxes. So awesome, right? Don't be intimidated by it. The thing that you have to remember with eBay is shop shipping on eBay, right? Have a little bit of foreknowledge before you go in. Like I said, a shirt's 1 pound, jeans is 2 pounds, and a coat's 3 pounds. right? So know how much that's gonna be and then factor that in, right? And after a time, you'll get to know how much it is depending on how far away it is. If you want to do stuff in advance, go to Pirate Ship or eBay Shipping or USPS.com and figure out how much it is from Nya to the furthest possible point in the United States, which is generally Washington, D.C., or maybe Maine if you like lobster, right? Figure out what that is for 1 pound, 2 pounds, and 3 pounds, and then factor that in first. And then you'll be pretty safe most of the time. Again, sometimes you'll lose money, sometimes you'll gain money, but it'll all come out of the wash. Do me a solid and the rest of the eBay sellers that are going to be in the room after today. If there is a great difference, refund some of that back to your customer, because that's the nice thing to do, right? But you can make a little extra money off of shipping. Don't lie, I've done it myself.
I have a real quick question. When you talked about there's no like 1 pound, 6 ounces. You could just like, it's either under
or it's 1 to 2 pounds, 3 to 4 pounds, 5 to 6 pounds.
So if it's like 1 and 6 ounces, just put it as 2 pounds?
Correct.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it'll be,
Yeah, just round
because
it
on
up.
eBay it says 1 to 2.
Okay, and you would just click that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's correct. Again, kind of the additional stuff, have your shipping supplies on hand, right? If you're gonna use special bags and everything else, just have some of those on hand. I'm really going to encourage, if you're gonna do international shipping, if you're not double bagging things on a clear poly mailer, and then one with the actual mail, I would encourage you to do that because those things go through some shit. Monitor your solds. One of the things that I see with a lot of people, and it's easy I think to do on Poshmark, to like set it and forget it because they'll have closet clear outs and they'll have the offer to likers. So that encourages you to kind of check yourself. eBay has no such thing. So actively monitor your solds, actively monitor what you have listed, make sure that that pricing matches what it's actually being sold for. Because otherwise things will sit until it hits that next peak. And if you want to move things, just check those fairly regularly. When doing comps, make sure you experiment with searches that generate too many comps. So long coat is going to generate a lot of listings, right? A Pronti, micro ultra suede, long jacket with 6 buttons, this long sleeved, that's what I'm wearing today, that will generate fewer listings. So kind of experiment and see what people are doing to get that ultimate comp. Have something to weigh things on. Get yourself a little scale. It doesn't have to be great. It can't really be the bathroom scale. Get yourself a postal scale if you don't have one. They're fairly inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon for a few bucks, but it'll definitely make sure that when you weigh things to be picked up by the post office, that's where it's critical. You need to be exact. So our 1 pound 6 ounce thing, you want to know that that's 1 pound 6 ounces and not 2 pounds, because that's where you're going to save money on shipping. Be organized. I have a shipping area. Because I do pirate ship, it is boxed based on what it is and then how many cubics it is, right? And by the way, I said this at the upfront, probably most of you weren't here. My wife is the big eBayer in the family. She's a full-time eBayer and she makes my little $1,200 a month. She's like $4,000 or $5,000 a month. So she has, if you go to Flippin' in Phoenix on Facebook, that is her Facebook group. She has videos on pirate ship and she'll go and explain it at length. She's taken all that experience and she's put it into videos. So that's kind of a handy thing to have, but be organized. As we discussed, don't do many auctions. And if you do auctions, don't do 99-cent auctions. That's just gambling. Don't take any less money than what you're willing to accept for it. So instead of setting it 99 cents, consider how much you paid for it. Consider those comps, because I know you're doing comps on everything. I'm not doing comps on everything. But you know the market. Like after a time, you know the market. But make sure that you consider how much you paid for it, what the comps are, and what's that lowest price. Start there. So if you paid $4 on it and you want to double your money, right? You have to spend $10 because you have fees that you have to pay and you'll double your money that way, right? So consider those things, then start it at $10, right? Don't start at 99 cents because you're just losing money. Please take my stuff for no money. Price your items fairly. The thing with eBay is the closer you are to that sweet spot for comps, like if one sold yesterday at $10, list it at $10, right? Unless you're gonna list it at $12 and ask for offers, right? But keep it in that sweet spot for comps because eBayers will kind of look for that. Use your 12 photographs and full description to document what you're selling. You have 80 characters in that title. You know that it always searches by title. Use that title, right? Don't spam your titles. This is not a Pirates of the Caribbean jacket. Don't describe it as that. Put it in there because they will nail you for spamming keywords. Remember to set up best offers. Again, you have control over what offers people are going to accept, what you're willing to accept, and what you're willing to kick out and say, no way, pal, I'm not taking $5 for that item. We talked about getting a PayPal credit card. It'll give you liquidity with supplies, right? And it also means that you're not paying for any pirate ship. If you choose to use pirate ship, you're not paying that out of pocket. You're just paying it out of that PayPal money. And then finally, we talked about this earlier. Again, monitor your subscriptions carefully to make sure you're not spending too much money. Like, I want you to think about this because with Posh, you're not using Terapeak or WorthPoint, right? You don't have a store that you have to deal with. You don't have to pay attention to how many listings you have because you have infinite listings, right? You don't have to worry about paying your shipping fees through pirate ship. There's so many more things that you can get feed for. Monitor your subscriptions carefully every month. At one point, my wife had Terapeak, she had WorthPoint, she had, who is it? Autumn, Amber, Amanda, that's her name. List Perfectly. She had List Perfectly, she had all of these things, so she's spending, you know, right around $100 a month. And then she has like, let's see what level store she at. She's at a premium store, so she's paying for $60 for that, right? That's cool, like if you're making the $5,000 a month. But if you're making $1,000 a month, not cool. So monitor your subscriptions carefully and make sure you're right sizing for your business. And if there's 2 of you in the household, the other person that lives with you. Yes, miss?
Do you cross-list everything across the board, or do you kind of pick and choose?
I pick and choose. So Poshmark is my big bucket, right? My 2 smaller buckets are Etsy and eBay. eBay is for collectibles, right? So if it's something that, Clark show. If eBay is, if there's something that is collectible or something that appeals to a very small portion of the audience, let's be honest, eBay has a bigger audience than Poshmark does, right? So that's what goes on my eBay is those collectible things, those one-off things that are kind of niche things, because I know that I'm probably going to get a bigger pull on eBay than that. And those are the 3 that I commonly use. Have I done Depop? Yep. I wasn't able to produce enough volume on that, because here's the thing, and if anybody listened to me at Poshmark, like I look at time as being a big bucket. That bucket has big rocks and small rocks, right? Depop was just a really small rock that I didn't want to make time for because it made way for other things that I think I've been more successful at. Recently on my Instagram, I posted "To Thine Own Self Be True," right? Even though you could technically get your 156% of, boost in business, if it doesn't fit your business, then simply don't do it. But it doesn't hurt to experiment. Good. On the back, I do have the subscriber benefits. Getting back to my depends answer, is that if you look some of the bottom, like they have final value fees for guitars and basses. And that's 3.5%, right? For heavy equipment, anybody want to sell like a backhoe? That's a little bit less, 2.2%, 1.5%. But you'll see that the final value fees for everybody starts at 10%, and it really doesn't go down far from there, 4 to 9.5%, so on and so forth. So those are all the things that you can consider. If anybody sells tennis shoes, right now, any tennis shoes that sells for over $100, you don't pay any final value fees for it.
Why
So,
is that?
what's that?
Is that like a promotion they're running?
Yeah. So obviously the tennis shoe is a huge market that's simply blown up. I watched, for those of you who has Disney Plus.
I just started that one.
Okay,
this
so if
morning.
you go in and see Jeff Goldblum,
Mhm.
he has actually one devoted to sneakers. It'll blow your freaking mind. Like seriously, blow your freaking mind. So those are super awesome things. But take a look. This is a today thing, so now it's probably like dead. But go in and take a look and see what works for you and what you're selling, and find something that picks for you. And then every once in a while, look at what's there because it'll tell you what's hot.
I have a question. You kind of mentioned it in the very beginning. I don't know, there's other eBay sellers in here that maybe, for one, allowing returns and then allowing the returns and then the shipping on that return is paid by who?
Shipping is paid by you.
As the seller? If you allow the return, you're then paying for them to ship it?
So if you're
back?
fast and free, which means that I'm going to ship it within a day, I'm going to include shipping in my price, I'm going to take 30-day returns, and I'm going to pay for shipping back. Those are the things that you're leveraging. If you take one of those away, you certainly can. Probably the one that I would take away would be like, they're going to pay for shipping. Okay, because it makes you think twice about it. But at the very
there a way
bottom page on my tips, this is my favorite tip of all time. This is my big one. Sell like you don't need the money. You want to return it? Bring it on back, right? I have enough oomph in my business that says, go ahead and return it. I don't want it out there and you're not wearing it.
Yeah, I mean.
So I never fight it.
Right, but the payment for their return, like I don't wanna pay for them to return the stuff.
Then you put in that buyer pays for return.
Do you feel like that negatively affects?
There's no feeling it does. Whether that, again, what you're looking at is you're looking at your risk threshold, right? By buying something at Goodwill or wherever the bulk of your purchases come from, you're assuming some risk, right? In hopes that that's gonna pay off, right? Sometimes, again, it's a gamble. Sometimes it's like, this is a solid payout. These are the things that I'm giving you that produce solid payouts. If you choose to vary from that, all you're doing is increasing your risk profile, which is not a bad thing, right? Big risks, big rewards, right? You just have to make sure it's not a crazy risk. Make sure that you have built things into your business that says, hey, I can't just double my money. I have to get 5 times my value because that allows me to absorb the cost from returns, right? So those are things that you're gonna decide. Myself, I always have the customer pay for shipping. I'm not gonna do fast and free shipping because that's just not my brand. That's not where I live, right? I think it produces a different feeling about the purchase.
So what you're saying is there's 2 categories, there's like fast and free with the 4 components.
That's the best. That's the lowest
Right,
risk,
that's the
right?
one that goes up
Yep.
there. And then there's the other one, which is like, you could pick and choose whatever you wanna offer.
Yep, pick and
Okay.
choose based on your business needs.
Okay.
Again, I'm making enough money in mine that like, I'll accept a return, I don't care, right? Because I sell
Right,
like I
right,
don't
right.
need the money. But if you're like, hey, for me, I'm just gonna always include free shipping, that's gonna increase the rank in your listing, but I'm going to make the customer pay for shipping, that's gonna reduce it so much.
But
Well,
then you can choose to do your promotions, which could bump it up again.
yes, yeah. Or you can choose to donate, which
Right.
again, you can write that out as a tax donation. That's a
right.
donation that you get to make, and you get an increase in the ranking. If you have a store, maybe that having a store for you increases you up enough to where you're getting the velocity you need, to where you can say, well, no, you're paying for your own return shipping, you jerk, because you didn't like the color, because it appeared brown and it was black, whatever. You didn't like my dog. I don't know your life, but that's kind of all up to you.
A question for you?
Yeah.
If you, on your regular eBay listings, you have, just lost what I was gonna say, we're gonna do that and say. So right now, on my regular listings, the buyer pays for the shipping. If I wanted to run a sale on my eBay, run a 25% off sale, is there an option to, is there a box I can click that takes, or adds free shipping to the duration of that sale?
So what you can do, again, depending on how granular you want to get, and that's really what I love about eBay, is eBay really truly allows you to run your own business, right? For some people, that's a terrible idea, right? For some people, it's a great idea. So a lot of times, if you go into your listings, you can bulk change listings. You can also have shipping settings.
Yes.
To where you can have this is my free shipping setting, and then you're just gonna put everybody on that shipping list. All the ones that you want to discount, put those on that shipping setting,
Oh, okay.
and then everything else. Yeah,
And
so
then,
you-
and then go start your sale.
Yeah,
And
and then go
okay.
start your sale.
Okay,
But
I
yeah,
understand.
do it. Make sure that, again, at the end of, when somebody buys something, that you're not going to be in hot water. Because you know, time and time I tell people, you spent time going to the Goodwill. You spent time looking at comps. You spent time steaming it if that's your thing. You took time measuring it if that's thing. You took time listing it. You took time promoting it. Your time has value. That's what you're in this business for, right? Our expertise is not selling Chanel purses, right? Our expertise is finding those Chanel purses so that other people can buy them. That's where you make your money. Because anybody really can go to